Its own group only.
Okay, cool. It usually takes a minute to go ahead and go through. There's one last question I need. Okay, cool. Good and verified. Are you going to be able to play for the hour and a half that this lobby will be going on for?
I don't see why not.
Okay, I was just making sure, just because I don't want to have to repeat stuff and have new people coming in and out and stuff like that. So if you do, if you're able to say, great. If you can't, feel free to come in another time when you have the time. But
am I allowed to play DPS? Because I don't really play tank.
if somebody wants to swap you, I have to play DPS when I play these. So if
I'm not swapping. I get here early so I can get the DPS
okay,
slot.
that makes sense then. I was wondering why you I made the lobby. I messed up the lobby the first time. As soon as I hit create lobby, somebody joined. I'm like, who is in stream? Who's stream sniping or something? I didn't even have it on the overlay, so you must have been refreshing the thing, waiting for it to come on. That's that's so funny.
It's not. Well, then it's not super helpful for me. I mean, I'll play, but
If like I said, you can always feel free to come in and join another time. I stream all these for free too, so if you can leave it on and play your own games and ask questions in chat, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions if you don't feel comfortable playing the role. But it all depends on what you want to do. Just don't waste my time and don't waste the other 4 people here, or well, yeah, the other 4 people here that are wanting to play. So let me know your decision.
how would I waste their time?
Well,
Like, what do you
one, because if you don't like the coaching or you're not comfortable and then you end up leaving, it just wastes everybody's time. So.
No, I mean, I'm fine playing Zarya the whole time, but...
Oh, okay. Any questions before I actually start the timer? No? Okay. Well, hold on. Tracer has one. Off-topic question. When should you start saving for retirement? I mean, I'm 26 right now, so I don't necessarily...
18. As soon as you're able to start saving for retirement, you should. 18.
That's probably right. I would say, I would probably
recommend. I take economics.
I would probably suggest that too.
If you start saving around 18, you have, like, depending on how you start saving for retirement, you'll have around a minimum of like $3 to $4 million.
Simple as that. You heard it here
the
first.
longer you wait, incrementally less money you get when you retire.
Simple as that. There you go. Retirement advice 101. I'm personally am trying to start investing soon. I'm trying to get my account stuff verified so I can start doing investments and do some stuff like that. But as soon as my son gets old enough to start like knowing what money is and stuff like that, I'm gonna start him understanding how credit cards work and everything. But that is an off-topic question. But yeah, well, as soon as you're 18,
if I have kids, honestly, you should start saving for their retirement as early as you can, because that's more money that they'll have, better life that they'll have for their kids, and then it'll snowball effect, and eventually your family will be that rich family that you're always like, I wish I was rich. I mean, you won't. But
no, it's good for the family. Yeah, I get what you're saying. All right. Any last? Yes, Shax, you did miss it. Sorry, you have to have them. You have to be faster on them notifications. There usually is about like a 15-minute startup. So like, if you see a notification, you got like 15 minutes. I'll plug it at the end. I'll plug it at the end. I'll plug it after the analysis phase. So because I don't want anybody cheating and stuff like that. All right,
what are they cheating off of?
I'll explain. So welcome everybody to the lobby. This is going to be a coaching golden under lobby over the basics of stuff. How this is going to work and how your time is going to be kind of divided is there'll be about like 3 phases technically. The first phase is going to be a diagnostic phase. During this phase, this is where you guys need to be trying hard, playing at 110%, doing your best, treating it as a scrim tournament, pickup game, competitive match, whatever the highest form of Overwatch you have played. That's what I want to see you guys play at.
Can I interrupt 3 seconds?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yo, Reaper, you're okay with playing Reinhardt, right? Oh yeah, that's all you play. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Okay, like I said, these are try-harding and stuff like that. After this diagnostic phase, will be an analysis phase, and this will where I'll go over the 4 things I'm really going to be looking at. And explain what you did good and bad. Now, the 4 things I'm going to be looking at is going to be your team composition, your positioning, your ultimate usage, and your communication. And then after that phase, after the analysis phase, we'll go into the coaching phase. Now during this phase, I don't care if we win, I don't care if we lose. The only thing I'm worried about is getting the one thing done that we need to work on. Okay, so if we're working on, for example, say if we're working on ultimate usage, I don't care about the communication, I don't care about the team comp, I don't care about the whatever, it doesn't matter because we're only working on ultimates. Or if we're working on team comp, I don't care about the positioning that you're doing, I don't care about whatever, anything like that, I don't care about it. So just keep that in mind and keep that
in comp or just
no, it's quick play. I would never do this in comp. So it's not even possible for
maybe because you said you had to play damage, so I was like, oh, maybe it's your rank.
Oh no, I just do it because damage is the least effective role in Overwatch. So or least important role in Overwatch. Let me put it that way. Okay. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. So does anybody have any questions before? Oh, also hold on. During the diagnostic phase, I will not be talking. I'll have my mic muted. That's why I do not want anybody in stream. If you are from stream, either leave the stream or mute the stream, whatever you need to do, because I'll be talking to them.
But you will listen to our call-outs, right?
Yeah, I'll be able to hear. Yeah, I will be able to hear you guys. I just won't be.
Follow up on this.
Yeah, I just won't be able to. I'm just not going to be talking. So whatever you need me to do, let me know, and I'll do it to my best ability. And then if we happen to get Paris, and this goes through the whole thing, but I do want to mention this. If we happen to get Paris, you guys can vote to skip, and it's either S for skip or P for play. Type it in the group chat. Only vote once, so I don't have to like look at all the votes and stuff like that.
I don't skip every time.
But other than that, that's pretty much it. So I guess if there's no questions, we can go ahead and begin. So let's do it.
Comp only maps, please.
We usually play usually diagnostic phase, depending on the map and how long it goes and what I see right off the bat. We can usually play 2 matches. I've never had a diagnostic match where there's like more than 2, but usually that's what we end up playing. Bro, this game is dead. Time to move on. Yeah, but I like playing the game. I enjoy the game, so I'm going to continue playing. And people,
I mean, if this game is so dead, why does Kabaji have 7,000 viewers right now? Like, this game ain't dead, bro. Sorry.
It's not dead. It's just.
I mean, it's dying.
It's not dead. It's dull right now. That is what I think. That's what it is. It's just kind of dull.
I will agree that it is dying, but it's not dead yet.
Yeah, no. And when Overwatch 2 comes out, I don't think it's. It'll
Overwatch 2 already came out.
Maybe we can try something on the weekend. Yeah, Void. I mean, if I ever stream on a weekend, then maybe. But I don't know.
Mpulse.
Yeah.
What rank are you? Because like I wanted to check out your stream so I could like look at your VODs or whatever.
Oh, I don't stream competitive games. Huh?
So what do you stream?
I just stream like coaching stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not. I don't. My computer's not strong enough to run both at 144.
What else? So do you play competitive?
Yeah. Every now and then when I have time.
Sorry.
38.
Just out of curiosity.
38.
You're what?
3.8. What do you guys want me to go here? My profile is public, so you can always look at it if you want.
I know. I was wondering if that's just your total, or if you have like, because you're not placed in tank or damage, so I don't know.
Oh, they all placed around diamond, like 29 and 31.
Oh, okay.
So. All right. Is there anything specific you guys want me to play here? If not, go ahead.
Well, I need Reaper to like be alive, and I need him to be playing Ryan, but.
Yeah. Is Light here?
I'd like to see what they're running, but honestly, Sombra could be pretty strong. Tracer could be really strong if you're good at Tracer.
They're running Bap, Ana, Monkey, Zarya, and
Wait, how do you know what they're running already?
come upstairs and you'll see.
Oh, we got Widow? Alright, hold on, I'll go Widow first.
Okay, what do you want me to play?
He said Ryan. No, I'll go Widow.
Super aggressive.
I'll go Widow for a little bit.
Oh no, I like the Genji Tracer. We're gonna be playing aggressive.
No, Genji Tracer is not good with Ryan Zarya. This is good.
Junkrat left side, Monkey left side.
This is gonna be... So their communication so far is not terrible.
Where's our Widow? You got 2 left side, Widow. Monkey's diving you.
Oh, Widow, you ran. That's gonna get you. I was gonna bubble you and get some free charge.
Monkey behind.
No, he's okay. It's fine. I'm watching him.
Push up though.
You're okay, Ryan. You're good. A little further. You're no longer bubbles. I'm gonna get in front of you.
Watch the turret.
Turret above. I'm dead.
Top left.
This is not your
Alright.
time.
Behind.
Widow, can you take that turret out?
Guys, we're wasting too much time on Monkey.
This monkey's is going in. It's so
By
funny.
yourself,
We
Rig.
need more.
I'll give you
aggression.
ideas later. Alright.
We need some more aggression.
Can we get a break? Mercy, do you mind changing to break? We need a break to deal with the
Yeah, I'll stop the break.
Oh fuck, I fucked
Ryan,
up.
wait. Ryan, wait. You're alone. Monkey behind. Alright, Ryan, ready? Come on. I need your shield. I need your shield.
This will heal you.
Get the turret.
Take out that turret.
Focus the turret.
Monkey on Widow.
Push up, guys.
I got 6 seconds for you, Ryan. I got 6 seconds on both.
Talon will be eliminated.
Keep hitting that Brig.
Oh, I can't believe I missed that. And that one.
Reaper, did you leave? Or are you going for reset?
Yeah, go ahead and give me the ideas later. Alright.
Reaper? Reaper's not
They're
moving.
still pushing hard.
Nice.
Yeah, my game went.
Okay. Alright, cool. Awesome.
So let's see.
Megan,
360 no scope. Alright, I'll try it.
Cool,
Alright,
Okay.
guys, don't push along. Don't push along. Just literally-
Alright, where's he at? I might be able to do the tour back there. Oh! I don't have enough.
No one can hide from my
Come on, come here. I'll swap to McCree.
We need way more.
I don't have enough DPI. My DPI isn't fast enough for me to do that. I don't have enough mouse space. I play on like a 2.4 cents.
I'm
Okay,
not saying
so
it's the main problem. I just
we're
like,
going
trying to-
main still.
We gotta.
So our pathing right now is pretty bad.
Like you're just kind of standing still. I want to make sure you do stuff.
So the monkey is just free firing in. We're not really doing much about it, but we did swap our team comp up a decent amount. We had 3 ults.
I had 1 second on there. We got these, so we're good.
Yep.
Three people are super aggressive, but we gotta be taking out that turret.
Yeah, I know. Get the focus Zarya, Zarya one.
Wait, give me that charge, Never mind. You seem to keep, like,
I'm trying to
So one thing was like
no, Ryan, you're good.
our pathing was pretty bad.
Every time I bubble. Ryan, back up. There you go.
Enemy turret destroyed.
Fine, back up. You're hard.
Yeah, we're pushing way too far forward, and we're not really.
We're not even at checkpoint.
Rest in peace.
Good, kill him.
Yeah, positioning seems to be pretty bad right now.
Okay, let's push right side, high ground. We have to take out the storm.
Alright, we're gonna grab fire. Alright?
What? Why was he
Ryan,
sitting
drop
still?
fire.
there?
2, 1, drop. Oh fuck, I missed you. Moira tickets. Shield up.
We're using ult super late. If she grabs you,
Yeah, I'm stuck in front. I'm dead. I'm going for reset.
dude, that's fine.
Back up.
Back up.
Getting out.
Monkey behind.
Yep.
Now, hold on.
Okay, everybody group up. Do not go in. Mercy, back up. Wait for.
What do we have for?
Still spawning.
Okay, so we have 4 ultimates online. We should obviously open with a certain ultimate here. Let's see what
Tire.
ultimate we actually
They
open
have
up
a
with.
tire, I think.
Time to go. No.
Oh, excuse
yeah,
me.
no, they had a tire. Alright. I'll let you know when sniper. I'll grab. Go, tire.
Use
They're
tire.
just gonna,
Turret destroyed.
they're just gonna use that. Yeah. That's it.
I'm pinned.
If you get them with the tires, they break it.
To the right.
They're the immortality.
Yeah, that mortality point's there. You can't do anything about the. That's exact. Like, okay, so one thing when it comes to like using those two,
It killed
you
one and
you have to know
Oh, okay, so it did kill
they're
you.
not going to.
Tire.
Alright, tire.
They're. You have to make sure they're not gonna have anything defensive. Kind of deal with that. Why the fuck do they walk like that? They take so long to react when they get shot.
Not everyone
It's so weird.
Shatter incoming, shatter.
I got it. Torb, get the Torb. Torb is on.
We have more ult again. Don't use it. There we use both of our ults. Not necessarily needed.
Yeah, I got it.
I can't come
One
back,
of them
I'm
would have been
stuck off
fine.
my multi-port.
We're taking a little too long to actually use ultimates. I'm freezing cold. I need to go turn my heat on. Watch, I'm gonna go turn my heat on. I'm gonna sit right here. I'm gonna turn my heat on. I'm still going to have.
Right now.
Drop
I'm still
shield
gonna have
in
myself.
3, 2,
Forget about
1, drop.
point.
Nice.
Help your right. Back up. Torb turret.
Torb top left. Find a guy.
Alright, hopefully it wasn't telling me to.
You're getting straight
I
down.
got saturated. I'm throwing shutter.
The turret top left.
Close. That was double shot.
I still have use.
I'm done. I'm gonna die.
I thank you everyone.
I did that to to swap anyways.
Yeah, we're down 3.
One shot. One kill.
Obviously, I'm gonna swap to the Widow because it's
Go.
long range.
Shield me,
turret,
shield me.
guys,
I'm gonna
four
put it
turret.
in front of you.
Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Look at this dude right here. Look at this dude. All I'm waiting for is that shield to go down. Oh, he's moving now.
Alright, shield back up.
Torb turret.
No, it's on the left side. Nice block. I'm pinned. I'm dead. Can I get a res?
Yeah, we're not dealing with Torb turret.
Yeah,
Don't play.
I think our
Top
DPS
left, Widow.
is like
Top
you
left.
guys
Top left
running
on
around.
range. Can you shoot that?
He said he's not talking to guys.
No, he's not gonna talk, but he said he'd listen and make plays if we called it. So I'm calling it. He's gonna, I'm hoping he's
But
gonna
as
do it.
Widow, he can definitely take out the turret, but
This will heal you.
Take out the turret. That should be my job. Take out the turret.
Not ready.
Yeah. All right. Let me go take. Let me
I'm
take the
working
turret.
on it, but I can't
There's
really.
a- Instead of getting a support, that would actually be sufficient. Like that's so stupid.
Get out.
Head barber.
okay, we need to get off the payload, go around to the right or the left. I have coalescence.
Spam it, turret.
We can go in with coalescence.
Alright, we don't know how to take out the turret.
With every death.
Turret's not there. Turret's no longer top left.
The turret's causing so much problem, but they're just like.
Alright, you ready to grab tire again?
I don't understand why we're running.
Why would you use a
Wait for it.
We use these two together again? It's not going to get anything other than
Watch out.
the fucking shield!
My fault.
That was a really good shield.
Get out. Come back to spawn. Back to spawn.
See, this is the problem, like,
Leave spawn.
with some people, like, some of these people have been here before, so they know some stuff, but they don't know,
I need you to swap.
they
I need you to
don't,
swap toward. Like, actually go toward.
30 seconds remaining.
Please,
You don't have
if
a
you
junk
can.
face swap reaper. Yeah. They counter
Toward's not actually a bad pick.
P1. Okay, let's go.
Alright, so Widow, can you swap toward? Widow, can you swap toward?
Is he not looking at his team card?
We're not getting you. Can you throw turret down left side by the catapult, please? Or the cannon, rather?
A little late to be making plays. and we just got off the payload. And we died with multiple ults. So I'm really curious to see how the second round goes. I'm looking at a little bit of their team comp because they don't know how to do stuff. Positioning's also kind of bad. The next thing is kind of like their ultimates. Communication's solid. Their communication's solid.
The Molten Core is really good for zoning. Like really good for zoning. And we just got zoned off by his turret and core every time.
Alright, we're gonna play one more because I want to see which needs the work the most. Because there's definitely a couple things that you guys are really good at. There's some things that are really bad, but I want to make sure those things that are really bad are things that are happening consistently. So. Hold on.
Traveling to Nepal. Prepare for battle. Select your hero.
All right. Is there anything specific you guys want me to play here?
Probably a hit scan on this map.
Well, honestly, I'm gonna wait and see what everybody else goes.
Okay.
Kathy, what are you doing?
I'm gonna prig for this one.
Running 2 main supports. Oh. And this is village. Okay, so this is Brig can definitely work here. I don't know about a mercy though.
Are you good at Echo or Doomfist?
2, 1.
Oh, sniper took
Round
Echo.
1. Capture the
Oh,
objective.
that's one McCree.
Justice ain't gonna dispense itself.
So I'm just gonna go McCree because it mixes with
Laura,
thing.
you're the only one going bottom.
Enemy turret here.
Oh, he's playing against him again. Awesome.
It's the same Junkrat from last
Here alone. I think it's the same. I think it's the whole team.
The objective
Yeah,
is
I
now
think
It's the exact same comp, so I'm pretty sure it's the whole same team.
Awesome. So now we can see what they're playing. I'm actually happy we're playing against the same comp. Is there running?
It's literally just the same team.
I'm gonna be switching to Lucia because they got the tour.
Everybody go top. Okay, let's.
I'll try one more push, but I might swap the ball.
Okay. Ball isn't gonna be terrible. They have so much spam damage coming through. We're not gonna be able to run Ryan into this. We can't run a Ryan
It
into
ain't
this.
my time.
So running that might work.
really quick.
Why did you change to bomb?
I don't know.
With every
We
death
definitely needed
comes
Zarya.
honor.
Oh, we
Because of
didn't.
Diva that
We
needed
definitely
damage.
could use a hog here. A ball might be able to work. They don't have any stuns on their team. Okay.
I must
Whoa,
redeem
what are you
myself.
That
So
was like half of their ults.
we're still stalling it, so that's really good actually.
Moira dead. Moira dead. Is Zen ult forced out?
We're all dead.
See through the darkness.
It's okay. They have no Zen ult and Moira's dead. So we can make a push.
Even
We need to come out and regroup. Ryan, you're by yourself. Come back.
Get out.
Do not go top right.
So
Top left. They have a
our
jump
balls
right.
on point.
That's
Oh,
right.
okay.
Dead. Help me, guys. Where? Wait, what happened to the push?
See
You were dying, so we were moving up. Wait for everyone.
No, you guys were right there. You were about to push out, and then Monkey showed up, and you guys just backed up.
So there's multiple plans coming through, but nobody's really
see
going through with anything.
I think Hans up here. We need to take the point.
Take you
Both sides.
Can I get some heals?
Just
I get some heals?
We're all dead.
Best round.
I'm dead.
They really have no idea how to counter team comps.
0.
Like right now, they don't know how to counter team comp. They don't know that if they don't know how to do anything, they can't just copy their team comp. That seems to be the biggest problem right now. Problem solving.
Attack the objective.
Well, I guess the Baptiste is good. Alright, we're dive. Alright.
So
We're all soldiers now.
we'll see. Actually, I'm gonna play Widow again.
Are you guys cool with me playing Moira, or should I
One
myself
shot.
on somebody
4,
else?
3, 2, 1.
No, it's fine. I just think that
Capture the objective.
Well, the Rhine was good.
we need to counter their Torb and the Torb turret and the Monkey. Those are the two things that are like the worst for
Yeah,
us.
definitely the Monkey Torb
Don't go forward.
to an extent.
Zen dead. There's Zen dead. There's Zen dead.
Diva 1, Diva 1, Diva 1.
Diva's one. She's half health. I hate when people make these calls like that. Everything's one when they shoot it.
Dead.
Monkey dead.
Waiting on Mega Bag. Re-engaging.
Oh man, I can't believe this that quick.
Diva needs to be back.
No, we have that.
We did have it.
How do we have it? We lost
No, it's
3.
too late. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's not
I
fine.
gotten 3 of them off point behind.
We need to go bottom left. There's a Torb turret aiming right at the main site there.
Dude, you need to understand that we have to go in as a team. You're going in alone. We still have one guy left.
Yeah, that's definitely positioning's a little bit.
Monkey backside by himself.
Back up, get out. Oh, you're alone. Get out.
Oh,
Much better.
sorry, I'm staggered.
My will made real.
We have 2 more fights.
Like one more fight.
Bottom left.
I don't know why we keep going bottom left here. Positioning's a little bit of an issue. Team comp's definitely a big issue. Communication's good. Ultimate usage, a little rough. But I mean, I think they literally had no idea how to beat their team comp, and a little bit of the positioning, like a little bit was positioning, but that was only like one person to that last thing there. So it wasn't necessarily like everybody was having bad positioning, but it was more of their stuff that they planned on doing. So, okay.
That was rough.
All right. So I'm really happy that we got to play against them twice. So we could see like
we only
what
got
you guys.
4 elims. That was gold.
Yeah. That's definitely I mean, elimination's definitely what like. Elims don't really matter. It comes down to like some of the other stuff, because you're gonna get elims no matter what if you're doing stuff right. But if you can't, like, I can get kills all day, Like even on Rialto, killed 3. It didn't make a difference. We still lost. You can kill people all day.
Well,
That's
no,
why
I know, but that's what I'm like. We weren't winning team fights, is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
We only had 4 elims.
Yeah, but that's not like. I guess saying it like that doesn't necessarily mean like you're not winning team fights. That just means like elims was low, which obviously elims were low. All right, so let's go over stuff that was really good and then what was really bad. So both maps, you guys, communication, I think you guys are really good at communication. At least you guys are talking, trying to come up with plans, trying to do something. So that's really good that you guys are at least trying to think of how to do stuff and try to get some type of plan started, which is good. Like, you got to start somewhere. There was a lot of too many of one thing happening at once, which kind of cluttered the comms and stuff. And that's one big key thing is, like, if you have multiple people trying to make plays and trying to do something, it's not going to work. You need to have, if 2 people are trying to make plays, one of you guys shut the fuck up and listen to the other one. And if that doesn't work a couple times, then try something different. Like, you can't all be the all-star playmaker. It has to be one person so everybody can follow the one thing. And if you can't sit down and let somebody else take over, then, like, don't talk. Because, like, there's always going to be other people with other opinions that can work and stuff like that, which is what seemed to be happening a little bit. Not too much, but, like, just a couple times we spent a little too long thinking about stuff rather than just coming up with a decision and going. Which over time, if you're taking 5 seconds here, 5 seconds here, you do that 2, 3, 4 times, now you've already done a team fight. Like, you've wasted a whole team fight on that, on just talking about bullshit, pretty much. So, but like I said, you guys are talking, for the most part, trying to call targets a little bit, calling out things, and stuff. I do want to mention this. Because this happened on last map, and I wanted to mention it because I hate when people do this. Okay, so let me ask everybody this real quick. What does it mean when somebody says a target is 1? What is it? How much health do they have to be?
1 tap, about
Low,
50.
very low.
About 50.
Okay, so people saying very low. Somebody said about 50.
Yeah, whenever a melee will finish them. Is
Okay, so under 30. So that's okay. So under 30. So under melee. Any other takers? Okay, so we called a diva. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Reaper, but I know we called a diva. And on the first fight or something, and they was like, "Oh, Diva's 1. I shot her, and I went out on my way to go shoot her, and like made sure because there was like a Torb and something else, and I was like, "Oh, let me get this Diva demech real quick." She's half health. That's not 1 HP. She's not getting full healed with a Moira Lucio in under a second, all the way over half health. That's not 1 HP. So these are things that you have to make sure. And one thing I want to speak on communication is making sure it's correct communication. And stuff about making ideas and making plays. You may not have the correct answer, but when it's when it's something like that, and you know for a fact they're not 1 HP or 25 HP or whatever, don't call it out like they are. Don't call out bad positioning like, oh, they're on the left side, but they're actually on the right side in the back line. Like, don't call, like, obviously you wouldn't want to do that, so don't call it about health things and everything like that. So just kind of keep that in mind. Next thing.
Another call that I like, if you said Diva less than half or half, that would have been.
Or just say low. Just say, if they're low, if you think they're low and you hit them a couple times, fine, they're low. Whatever. It's better than saying 1, because if they're 1, that means if somebody's going to go melee, they can go melee them, and they're not. Like, I can kill people by doing that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so next thing. This is kind of a toss-up between these last two, because the last one is definitely what you guys are going to be working on, because y'all suck at that. Let's just start with ultimates. Ultimates were bad, but they weren't game-breaking bad. They were just kind of stupid bad. They were kind of like, you don't know how to use ultimates, but you kind of knew a little bit of when to use them. And we didn't I don't think we overult it that much. I think we only overult it maybe once or twice, which is good. because a lot of times in these lobbies and stuff like that, we'll get 4 or 5 ultimates online, and all 5 ultimates come out at once. And it's like, well, that's why you lose games, because of that shit. A lot of times we are double support ulting. Where we, like when we was running a Moira Mercy, we was running 2 of the. We did that twice. A couple times where we used both of them, where we really didn't need to. The timing on ultimates definitely needs to be fixed. And I'll just kind of give you this tip so you guys don't do this shit anymore. You start fights with ultimates. You don't wait for a kill. You don't wait for blah blah blah. As soon as you're close enough to do damage, you hit Q. That is not after your mid fight or some shit. So whatever you believe, it is not anything else. 99% of the time, you're going to be starting fights with ultimate. Sometimes you can wait for ability to come out, but bottom line, you use ultimates before the enemy team uses ultimates. That's your goal. Unless it's a support ult, then usually you want to use yours last, because you want yours to last a little longer. Just kind of depends. It's a gray area, but like most of the time when it comes to using ult, you're going to use this. And please, I don't know how many times I've said this in lobbies, do not combine grav and tire. Those are the worst. Like, that is the worst, and like,
hey man, it's all I had to work with.
yeah,
okay?
look, it's fine. It's a plan is better than no plan, but it is a bad plan, because they
I know. I wanted Torb for Molten Core and Grab, so when they tried to leave, they would die. But
either way, you can do that, but you don't have to. And this is something that happens in a lot of lower ranks. Always trying to combo something. You don't always have to combo something. You can just shoot into the grab and then follow up with something else after. Now, yes, if you do need to do a hard team wipe or something like that, yeah, okay, those things can work. But a lot of times we don't need to do that. And especially with Tire. Tire is not guaranteed to get a lot of kills unless you guys just ain't paying attention and you don't see where it's coming from. Yes, that can happen, which did happen multiple times to you guys. But a couple things is, if you use Tire to start a team fight, what is the enemy team going to do? They're going to usually play a little defensive, back up, wondering where the fuck it's coming from, all this type of stuff, right? Because they're going to be looking for it. While they're doing that, you can literally take free space and put pressure on them so that they either look at the Tire or they're going to look at you coming straight for them. They're not going to be able to do both. So you use that as an advantage, get out abilities, get out all this stuff, use the Tire. They're going to have to use Immortality Field if you go for anybody close, get rid of the Immortality Field, fine. Now you grab, everybody's already there, you get that damage for free, they're not surviving through that, Junkrat can shoot back into the Tire, and then after that Tire comes out, or after he shoots that back out, guess what happens? Now he has another Tire. Yo, thank you for the donation, appreciate it. So these are things that you want to keep in mind when it comes to ultimate usage and stuff like that. So next thing, what is it? Oh my gosh, hold on, I gotta change some sound settings. Everything is coming through my system, which it should not be right now. Let me change something really quick, sorry about that delay. Properties, Lumia stream, it goes through, I think SFX. There we go. So it's not as loud. Okay. Alright, next was positioning. Thing that I was really kind of thinking that we probably needed to work on. These guys really shit at doing positioning. On first point, we kept going main. I don't understand why we need to go main against a whole spam composition. They're running a monkey, but they were also running a Baptiste, a Junkrat, a Torb on Rialto. We're just walking down main, taking all this damage, and by the time we get there, we have no abilities left. We have nothing. Everybody's low HP. All this stuff is going on before we can even get a swing on. So why do you keep going main? There's no reason to keep going main there. So your positioning was kind of bad on Rialto. It started getting a little better, but like toward the end, when we was going to get first point and you was taking the space, that's really good that you're taking the space, but you also have to realize once the cart says contested, you need to start playing a little slow and seeing if we can kill that person, and if not, then you need to like hightail it back. You can't be so far away that you're out of the fight. As a main tank and Reinhardt, you need to be where their main tank is most of the time. You want to try to be fighting that head on. You want to be in front of that. or at least be there for the most part. So take that with a grain of salt when it comes to like taking space and stuff like that. Make sure your team's able to take that space with you. And then on the last two maps, we kept going left side, and this wasn't necessarily terrible, but we kept going left side. They're running a lot of spam stuff. We can't really run through that and expect not to get a whole bunch of damage coming out. And we was also running a brig, which is okay, cool if we can brawl, but we're not brawling because they're spamming into us. We can't close that distance without them getting into it. So that's kind of what was going on there. They were just spamming us down before we even get close. So that's kind of one of the big issues when it comes to the positioning errors, stuff like that. And then also resets, y'all seem to do pretty good on y'all's resets overall. There's a couple times where there's people taking a little too long to die and going in too early and stuff like that. That happened like maybe 2 or 3 times, which definitely cost you maybe a fight or maybe two fights total, which hurts a lot on alt charge. And that'll lose you games easy. But these are things that you want to just kind of keep in mind, like knowing when your team's going to push and coordinating stuff so your team can be able to follow up on that. Same thing as like using the tire to create space. If you're going to try to do a diversion or you're going to try to do something, make sure it's when your team is pushing in so that so they don't have just one thing to look at. I was watching something, I think we did a VOD review or something like that. It was something, but something happened where like a tracer was going in and everybody killed the tracer, and it's like, well, there's nothing else for them to look at, so why would they not go for you? If you are going in as a tracer and your whole team's going in on the other direction, they're either going to look at you or deal with the people in the front line. They're not going to do both. If they do both, they're going to lose because the tracer's going to be able to get out, right? So all you're doing is just kind of causing a diversion, getting resources put into you and stuff like that. Same thing, bulwark, same thing. Kinda you can do it with monkey, but one of those. Does anyone smell the up dog in here? Garden, you're so funny. Next thing, and this is the thing that you guys definitely don't understand how to do at all. Okay, so team compositions. You guys do not understand these, or understand how to kind of counter them a little, to an extent. You guys start it to, but it's like super late. It's like 80 something percent, 70%. It's like, oh, let's try doing this now. And it was like, okay, we should have did that like as soon as we seen what they came out on spawn. So these are things that you got to keep in mind on how to build team comps and work a team comps. Now, our first team composition wasn't necessarily terrible. We was running a brawl and they was running a monkey, so it's like, all right, well, let's see how speedy this monkey's going to be. We swapped to a brig, which is okay, but not really going to do anything to the hog. I would have said you probably should have swapped either the Widow out for a McCree, which what I eventually ended up doing, or Hanzo or something long range that can still deal with that, or swap your other tank. Running a Rhine with a Rhine Zara, there's no real reason to run that if their Winston's getting that much damage or that much value, and we need something way more spammy. Brawl, the Brig can bring out the brawl and bring the stuns. That's great, but she can't do anything to stop the spam from coming in or anything like that. McCree can kind of spam, and he also has a stun and stuff like that, but they're still spamming into us. We need something that can deal with spam and that can also do a stun, which is why I said Roadhog probably would have been one of the better picks there, so that we can stun if we need to, and we still have that major output of damage coming in. So that's one thing that we need to look at. The second match was running kind of the same thing on a different map. We should have ran like either a dive or ran the same team comp they was running. But I mean, it takes us 2 fights to kind of understand that, or 3 fights to kind of understand that, and we still don't swap to their whole team composition. And now it's too late. Same thing with like the Torb swap on Havana and stuff, and swapping it's great, but it's like super late. At that point, like, you made a good decision, but you're not understanding how to make a good decision. So what I'm going to do is teach you guys how to counter team compositions and how to identify targets that you need to focus down. So in that case, I got to teach you guys how team compositions work, what the basic team comps are. So, now at the analyzing phase is over. Do any of you guys have any questions or anything like that? No questions?
I mean, I don't have any like direct questions.
Oh, that's fine. If you don't have any, don't have any. If you do, if you come up with some, just let me know. Okay, so
no, it's just like I don't know. I don't know. Like,
okay,
I have questions, but they're not like.
ask one and then we'll go from there. Ask your first question.
Well, no, I mean, you kind of answered most of them.
Okay, well, like I said, if there's another question or something that comes up to your mind, feel free to ask. I'll be more happy to answer it with knowledge that I know and stuff like that, to the best of my ability. Okay, so, oh yeah, so I said I was going to plug my Twitch. If any of you guys wanted to follow along on Twitch next time, it's my name and then _OW if you haven't found it yet. But feel free to follow along and stuff like that. I'll plug it at the end too, so if you want to, go ahead. If not, I don't care. Alright, so next thing. Now we're going to go into the coaching phase, but first I gotta teach you how team comps work and stuff like that. So, there's 3 basic kind of team comps in the game. You got your brawl team compositions, you have your spam team compositions, and then you have your dive team compositions. Okay, now all of these can flex around and do some things to switch some stuff up, and you can play kind of a different thing and whatever and mix and match. Yes, you can do that. But ideally you're going to have some main key characters that define these main roles, which is your main tanks and usually your main supports. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what a main support is, it's Lucio, Mercy, Brig. For anybody who don't know what main tanks are, it's Rhine, Orisa, Winston, Wrecking Ball. Those are your main tanks, those are your main supports. Those are going to really kind of define your team compositions and kind of your playstyle as well. So, with spam compositions, you're going to usually start out with the Orisa because she's spammy. She's just going to be holding a position, trying to whittle you down from afar. You, as an Orisa, as a spam composition, your main goal is to not let them get close to you, okay? You want to make them use all their abilities before they're able to get close to you. That is your main goal. So, now you think of that, now you got to think of heroes that are going to be doing that. So, they was playing some, they was running a Torb, they're Junkrat, you can run Hanzo, you can, for DPS wise, these are some of your main characters that you're going to be seeing in some of your spam compositions. Now, other composition, now for your other tank, you can run Roadhog, you can run Sigma, for your off tanks there, to kind of run hardcore spam. And then for your support line, you can run BAP, you can run Mercy if you're running something long range, you can run Lucio, and you can run Zen, you can run Brig, but that's going to be more for if you're countering something. But I would say for your main supports, probably a Mercy or Lucio. If you want to run double spam, you can run a BAP and Zen. That's fine as well. You could run an Ana and you could run a Moira. It just really depends on what you're wanting to go for your team comp, and what your main goal is for your team comp. You say teach in a match? Yeah, well, if follow along and there will be more matches. Okay, so that's kind of your spam composition. Now, your brawl compositions is going to be let's go to how to counter spam compositions. So your spam compositions get countered by closing the distance super fast and not being able to do anything about it. So obviously dive counters brawl dive counters spam because you can close the distance super fast and it's a lot of burst damage and they can't really do anything, which is why you could play a Brig or a McCree or something else that's less spammy but more brawly, and I'll explain how that works. So running dive, you're running a lot of mobility heroes or long range heroes into that, and these heroes are going to be like Winston, Wrecking Ball, Diva. These are going to be your tank line that you can run. For support or for DPS, you can look at like a Tracer, Sombra, Widowmaker, Ashe, Doomfist, Genji, Hanzo can work as well. And you can run a Reaper and you could run a Soldier. It just kind of depends on situations and stuff like that. You can run whatever you want with this if you need to counter something specific, and I'll teach that in a second. But that's kind of be your core tank and DPS line. Now your support line You can run a Mercy, you can run a Lucio as your support line as well. And then for your flex support, you can run an Ana, you can run a Zen. You could run a Moira, but I would very highly unrecommend that just because Moira won't really be able to keep up. And then you could also run a Baptiste, and you could run that. It's not going to be the best thing. So you've been talking for a good minute. Too many words to understand for me, and not enough visual learning. Well, like I said, there's VODs. You can follow along on YouTube. Feel free to watch it later. So next thing is going to be the brawl compositions. These are going to be your Reinhardt compositions. They are only going to really get value when you get super close range, and you can do stuff like that. So the brawl compositions are going to be like your Rein with a Sigma, Zarya. You could run Diva if you need to, and you could run Roadhog, depending if you need to flex something over. That's what their flex roles are for. But primarily Rein, Zarya, Sigma, any of those like close range, not super mobile heroes. And then for your DPS, they're looking at like a McCree, Reaper. You can run Torb, you can run Sim, you can run kind of Hanzo and Junkrat to an extent as well. But these are going to be your DPS line that you can run there. For your support line, you can run Lucio or Brig as your main support. Ideally, you don't really want to run a Mercy, just because everybody's going to be usually kind of close together. If you're running a brawl, Mercy's going to benefit having people spread out a little more, and she needs somebody to fly away to get out of to get an escape from. So if you have a sniper or something long range, then yeah, okay, you can still run the Mercy because she has that escape route for you. And then for your other flex support, you could run an Ana, you could run a Baptiste, you could run a Moira, and you can run a Zen. You could run a lot of support line of any flex support really with a brawl composition. You're a little more flexible there. So these are core components of that. So hopefully you guys kind of understand what those things do a little bit. And now you can maybe start understanding how counters work. So if you have a hard carry, you know, also in brawl counters dive, by the way. So if they're running dive, you run brawl, and then you go, and then yeah, it's a constant rotation of counters. So now you can kind of understand how counters are going to work. So if we're running brawl and they have a hard carry as X hero, say their hard carry is a Ashe, right? Okay, what is Ashe? She's long range. She's a little less mobility, so she's most likely a dive hero, right? So you probably, she's more of a brawl and or dive hero that you could play there. So you'd probably be wanting to either do something spammy, or you could run something divey as well to kind of counter it. You could maybe run a brawl character against it depending on what she's doing, but ideally when it comes to countering stuff like that is look at the hero that they're playing, figure out what team comp they belong in, and then pick your flex hero to swap to that, or pick the same hero that they're going to, or that they're going, because sometimes depending on the team comp that they're running, you can't just, there's not going to be a super hard counter, and Ashe was kind of a bad example. Let's do it with the Tracer, because Tracer's a easier example with that. So Tracer's a dive hero, right? She's hardcore dive. You're not going to play her in brawl, really. You're not going to play her in spam. She's a hardcore dive hero. Say she's carrying their team, right? Okay, so then, and you're running a let's say you're running a spam comp, running Orisa, Junkrat, and I guess a Hanzo or something, right? Say you're running that, and then your support line is a Lucio and a Baptiste. Okay, fine. You're running this, and your Tracer's just shitting on everybody the whole time. If that's the case, you need to figure out, yes, she's a dive hero. I need to have a brawl hero to kind of counter that. Or you could run a Tracer as well. Either one works. So with that, you can keep your main tank and keep your main support. And then you could swap to a something flex to kind of deal, a brawl hero to kind of deal with that. So now you can look at what your brawl heroes are and think who can counter her the best. So brawl heroes are like a McCree, Roadhog, Sigma, and Brig, you don't necessarily need to swap out your main support, because you may want to keep that output of spam coming through. So you could swap to a McCree to deal with the Tracer, or you could swap to a Roadhog or a Sigma to kind of deal with the Tracer as well. And Sigma would probably be the better choice, just because Roadhog you have to rely on the hook and stuff like that. So these are things that you can kind of look for to kind of deal with certain characters that are super strong. And if all else fails and you don't know the counter, or you don't know how to counter them, or you try doing 1 or 2 heroes and stuff like that, just swap to their whole team comp that they're running. So, and just run it better. And which is what we, like I said, that's what we tried to do a little bit, but it just took too long for us to do that. So, now we can go ahead, now that you guys understand how team comps are, how team counters work, or hero counters work, do you guys have any questions that I need to go into a little more detail on there? Or do you guys kind of understand the basics of that? Okay, so guess with no questions, I guess you guys understand the basics of that. So let's go ahead and go into our match. And how we're going to do this is that we're going to pick, I'm going to give you guys, I'll let the tanks decide on what team comp they want to play first. They want to play Brawl, Spam, or Dive.
I want to play a Brawly Dive. Like I want
We're just gonna hard commit to one of them.
Okay.
We're gonna.
That's what I tried to do when we started. I wanted to do a Brawly Dive with me and Ryan being Brawl, with our DPS being Dive.
Well, I mean that's great and all, but it's Havana. Havana's not gonna work on that because they're running Spam. Spam's gonna be way better on that map because there's long ass sightline. So, what we'll do when the map loads in, I'll say, okay, these 2 comps will work really good, or all 3 comps can work really good. Whoever's playing our main tank, they will get to decide what comp we're going to be playing. So whoever wants to play main tank, you would decide. We're either playing Orisa, Ryan, Winston, or Wrecking Ball, and then we're going to go from there. And then we'll pick our main support. Our main support can decide. I'll tell you what you're going to be able to play there. And then I'll pick options for DPS, options for flex support, options for our flex tank as well, on what we're going to be doing. And then once we're playing, if there's a hard counter or something like that, I'll say, all right, you guys need to identify who's getting the most value and who needs to swap. All right, so that's kind of how we're going to do it for the next 36 minutes. People send me messages all the time.
Welcome to Paris.
I'm never going to reply to them.
Prepare your defenses.
All right. Okay. Do you guys want to skip or you guys want to play?
Let's play.
Type in group chat SRP. Skip or play. Okay, we got 3 for play. So we're gonna play. We can either run dive or we can run spam. So
Let's go spam. I'll run Orisa here.
Oh, who's playing our main tank? Blue or Reaper?
I'm running main tank, Wrecking Ball Dive.
Okay, so Reaper, you're gonna run. You'll be playing off tank then. All right, so main support, you can go either Lucio or Mercy. Okay, flex supports can go Ana, Zen, or Baptiste if you want. DPS, you can go Hanzo's good. I'll go Tracer here. And then dive tank can also work. So if you guys never done dive on defense, you pretty much literally you just wait for them to go through a choke and then you dive them when they're going through the choke. You don't need to. We're not spamming, so there's no need to actually do anything until they actually start walking. The only thing we need to do is just identify where they're going, and then we're gonna go through.
Go dog Discord. Discord on Genji. He down. Ana
So,
Discord.
Hold up,
what team comp are they running? Can anybody identify what team comp they're running?
We gotta swap to spam. Homie, go Orisa.
We don't need to swap. There's no need to swap. Why would we swap? We won the fight.
But did we win the fight?
You can't swap.
Yeah, there's no need to swap even if they're running.
No, there's no need to swap. I thought we lost the team fight.
No, yeah. So we need to identify who's going to be kind of their carry, if there is one.
Both your heals are down.
I'm on fire.
There's a hog in the back.
Experience tranquility.
Kind of confused on the trance there, but so they're still not really able to do anything against us. So there's not really a super hard carry.
It's time.
So.
Lucio behind.
Losing down. I'm down.
So there's not really a hard carry or anything like that on the enemy team. At least yet.
I'm dead. Blind sacrifice. I traded with Ryan.
McCree one.
He's not one. He's half. He's full health. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You're calling McCree's one. He's full health when you called that.
No, leave the Lucio alone. Leave the Lucio. Just skip the Lucio. He's trying to keep
Get on
space.
point.
We don't need to get on point yet. We have another 30%. You get on point too early, that shit happens.
Back to work.
You end up rushing people to get on point when we can give them a whole 32%. And now we went in staggered and we lose the point.
30 seconds remaining.
We can't lose it now.
Okay.
New defense point.
So their McCree's on fire, so let's hard counter this McCree. They're running that McCree's a brawl hero, so we need something that's going to be spammy. We have a Hanzo and we have a Zen. So let's get another tank. Let's have our off tank swap to a spammy hero. Either a Sigma or a Rhine would work here. We don't need a main tank.
I'm pinned. Dead. Interesting dragon.
I'm on fire.
Now, hold on.
Lucio coming at you.
Oh, you should have
I
gone.
was waiting for team. I wasn't gonna just go 1v4.
Well, in that situation you would have needed to because they
Yeah, I
would
was
have
right
won.
behind you with as in.
Yeah.
Play.
Because as that in that situation, yeah, you need to because they're about to cap. If it's like 20% and they're about to get the first tick, okay, give them the first ticks and wait for your team to come back in, and then you need to then you can probably go in a little bit later. But in that situation, it's the last point, it's the last tick they need to get. You have to touch. You can try to wait for the last little second, but somebody has to touch, and ideally ball.
Well, yeah,
since
I
he
was
has
waiting because for me on my screen I saw Lucio was like right next to it, or I think it was, I don't know, it was Lucio or Zen.
Could you have made it to the point is the question.
Could I? I
Yes.
could have.
Then you
But then I
should have
would've
been on
died
point.
instantly.
You should have. It is your job as a tank with 600 HP compared to a Lucio with 200 HP to touch point. If you could have made it on point, you should have made it on point. That is your job. It is not lower HP hero's job to touch point first, if possible. Now, if Lucio's the only one alive and he got a touch, okay, fine, yeah, Lucio, you gotta go in and touch. He has a decent amount of survivability, but I mean, 200 HP compared to 600 HP, like stacking it up and looking at it, Lucio's not gonna survive as long. So those are things. Those are like these situations that you have to understand and say, okay, well, this is what I should have done. So, like I said, next when we go to, so do you guys understand how that team comp kind of works and how it can kind of play? And we was doing fine up until like that push there. There was just some mistakes on the positioning a little bit there and kind of taking a little long to bake team comps and stuff just because we had a vote. But now you can kind of understand how team comps are going to work. This time I'm going to have our support line, our main support, whoever's going to play main support. Let's figure out who's playing main support. So Cafe or Kazoon, which one of you guys are going to be a main support player?
I can do main support.
Okay, so Kazoon, you will pick what main support we're going to play, and I'll tell you which compositions are going to work. Here, so. And then we will pick our main tank after, and then we will pick everything else after that.
So I do understand what you're saying, right?
Mhm.
Whereas Lucio has 200 health, he's gonna die faster. But at the same time, the survivability for that fight, no matter who touches, was 0. You were going to die. So I was going to try to let Lucio touch, and then I was gonna drop down, and I was gonna shield and try to hold a little bit longer, while the rest of the team got there, so we'd have both tanks out and just be down our off healer. That was the plan.
Yeah, but if Lucio can get beat, then
Yeah,
but
I
Lucio
didn't.
was only at like 50 as far as I knew.
I didn't see it that way. You had a Zenyatta behind you, and that's
Was it
why I
Zen not
showed up.
Lucio? Was it Zen not Lucio?
Yeah, it was.
either way, it doesn't matter. All right, we'll talk about it after.
Alright,
No problem. No problem. All right, so Kazoon, this is a dive map, so we can run dive, and you can run spam, but we're gonna run dive or spam. So Kazoon, you can go ahead and pick your main.
I'm just gonna go Lucio.
Okay,
then.
so Lucio will work. So all right, now our main tank, we can run dive or spam.
I mean,
so it looks like
I
we're
can only
running
play
both.
Zarya, Wreck, or Sigma, so
That's fine.
I guess I'll play Sigma.
We can run. We're running dive. So Sigma's
No,
not
I know,
gonna work
but I
in
can
dive.
only play Sigma out of.
That's fine. Are you
I
here
only
to
have
win,
3
or are you
tanks
here to
I play,
learn?
And I can't play any
Are you here to win or learn?
Commences in 30 seconds.
I mean, I'm
Because this
here
is the
to
coaching
win
phase, so
but
we're
at
here
the
to
same
learn.
time, I can't play the other heroes. and
It
I don't
doesn't
want
matter. It literally doesn't matter. We're here to learn. This is the coaching thing. So, all right, and then DPS. Yep, Genji can work. Our other support can go either Ana, or you can run Zen. It's going to be very low healing, but you can run Ana, Bat, or Zen. Either one of those would work. And I'm gonna go Widow here.
Commencing.
One shot. One
Stop
kill.
the pain.
Sigma, you need to go Diva, or you can go. Oh yeah, you need to go Diva here. Sigma,
Yo, what's up?
you need to go Diva.
Alright then.
Lucio back.
Yep, just go to spawn. Go to spawn and go to Sigma. Go to.
Just let me die real quick and I'll.
Just go to spawn, or I can back out, and then we don't play.
There you go.
Like now you've wasted 600 HP of ult charge to the enemy, and 35% ult charge you could have had on Diva. Okay, so we'll give it to 330. Then we need to identify what their carry is.
Right now it's Hammond.
Hammond? Okay. So he's a dive hero. So we need to run something brawly. Or we could run a hard counter if you want to run a hard counter. So let's run. We definitely don't swap our flex support for our main support. There's no reason to run a brick here because now she can't heal his own or die. What you probably want to swap to, because an Ana can still sleep, so keep the Ana. Our flex tank can probably go a Roadhog here, or a Sigma for stun. Our DPS, we can swap our Widow for McCree, or we could run a Sombra. I'm just going to run a Sombra. There's McCree for the stun. So Diva, you can go ahead and go Roadhog here. And then now we need to make sure we're hard focusing the ball when it comes in.
Get out. Stay strong. Ball.
Hold up.
I think Sigma would have been strong here because I think you can.
Yeah, we can swap to a Sigma or a Roadhog here. I already said that.
Well,
Lucio low. Lucio 1.
Lucio's back up.
Diva, as soon as you come back, either go Hog or go Sigma. Either one would work here.
Drunk dead.
don't move.
Soldier's getting healed. I can't heal him.
It's time. Draw. Now, hold on.
Soldier ulting.
Diva, you should be swapping to a Roadhog or...
Oh, you didn't say. Sorry.
I said that 3 times now.
No, I thought my free swap.
No, I said you can swap off of Diva and go either Roadhog or you can go Sigma.
The payload has
Back
reached
in
the
the saddle again.
Zarya, focus Zarya.
On, I have 86.
Zarya low,
I'm not
Zarya
gonna
low,
swap
Zarya
until I-
low.
Yeah, you don't... Yeah, we have 4 minutes left, so it's fine. And if he's not that big of a threat anymore, then we're fine as well. One thing with also identifying key targets that need to die or that are carrying is understanding target priority. So this ball's going to be coming into us. So what we need to be doing is having our McCree and Ana play closer together so that they're kind of a brawly type set. So they need to play a little closer together. And then everybody else can kind of dive around and do their normal dives. So pretty much, Ana, what you need to be doing here is waiting for the stun to come out from McCree, and as soon as the stun comes out, you should be looking for that sleep. And Ball is the hard carry, so.
It's high noon.
Move it out.
Ideally, you don't want to nade as soon as they're as soon as you sleep somebody.
Who's got the hot hand?
Lucio.
What's that ball?
Get out.
Okay, so it's 2 minutes left. We need to go ahead and we need to make some hard swaps. So we can probably go ahead and let's go ahead and swap our flex tank because we still haven't swapped that yet. And then we'll go ahead and swap our Genji out for a Sombra, and we're going to hard counter the ball. And now that ball is not going to get any value. So as soon as the ball comes in, hat comes out, hook comes out, sleep comes out, stun comes out, everything's coming out on this ball. So all we're going to do is literally wait for something to happen, and then we can easily go. That's fine. Let us start. We can go take the high ground if we need to.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Oh, fuck. Sorry, I didn't mean to land on you.
Okay.
It's high.
Ball hack.
Hey, this fight's over, so we don't need to. We can go ahead and take the high ground if they're taking the high ground.
Yeah, we need to take the high ground.
Yeah.
Guys at high ground. Hey, let's take high ground. Get back in spawn and go towards the high ground.
Let's take the high ground. Oh.
Everybody
Nice.
group up here.
Alright, now let's go.
Meeting.
Get to the high ground.
Wait up here. Yes.
Can we get to the high ground? So, Hog, your job is to stay with your McCree and your Ana, so that when that ball comes in, it's super easy to do it.
Pardon me.
Alright, ball, you gotta be on point.
Don't move.
Oh, I'm not dead.
Well, we have beat, so. Lucio, are you not gonna hit beat? Oh, you did hit beat. Okay.
That's it. You beat.
That's fine. Okay, so ball wasn't necessarily that big of a problem after we swapped, like hard swap. So one thing that you have to understand also when it comes to swapping characters around to deal with stuff is one, identify what characters do both jobs. And you don't want to, like, okay, when our Ana swapped to a Brig, now we have two main supports, which you can run two main supports, but now we don't really have anything to heal long range for the rest of our team comp. So you have to make sure you're picking some stuff that is going to kind of do both jobs without sacrificing too much. So I swap off the Widow because they're not running any super long range hit scan or anything like that I need to stay on the Widow. So I go ahead and go the McCree because that's going to stun and also be able to do a decent amount of damage from people on the high ground and stuff like that. We also have the ball that can still deal with the high ground. We kept the Genji. I can still deal with the high ground. Our Diva can swap to a Roadhog or a Sigma to kind of deal with the ball as well. And then that kind of shuts him down. If you know a hard counter for a hero, you can always just swap that out first if you want to, and problem should be solved. Now, if the problem's still not solved, you need to have other options, which is why I didn't want to swap to Sombra until a little later on. Because I didn't want to bring out, oh, this is an easy kill, we'll go from there. Ideally, yes, you can just swap to the Sombra, but now, what happens if you don't have somebody who's going to play Sombra? Either they don't feel comfortable on it, or they don't want to, or they like playing this hero, or whatever reason. You need to have some other way to deal with these situations in your own games to supplement the fact that you're not going to have that hard counter. Okay? So same thing goes with like having a Pharah. People's like, oh, well, the hit scan should be able to kill the Pharah. Yeah, but you have every hero in or every role has stuff that can deal with the Pharah. You have a Diva that can deal with the Pharah. You have a Sigma that can kind of deal with the Pharah as well. You have an Ana that can deal with the Pharah. You have a Baptiste that can deal with the Pharah. You have a Zen that can deal with the Pharah. You have all these things from heroes that can deal with the Pharah and help with that can relieve stress off your hit scans that may be trying to counter. So it's not just one person that has to do something. If one person swaps but they're not getting value or they're still dying and stuff like that, just understand you have things in your hero pool that are in the roles that can swap to help deal with things. Now, if you're playing a main role, it's going to be a little bit tougher for you to swap to it. But if you have to and you're like, okay, we only got like a minute 10 left, I got to swap now because I'm not going to be able to build all. So keep that in mind as well. The reason why we kind of lost that one, if anybody's curious, is our positioning. We kind of let them take high ground for free. Our ball wasn't doing the same value as their ball, so it's kind of hurting us. As our ball, you either need to be where their ball is at every single time and focusing him down and rushing him out, or you need to be in their back line all the time and pushing them out and getting as much value as them. So either way, either one can work. It just kind of depends on who gets more value and stuff like that. But these are one of the reasons why we was losing that fight there. But all I'm working on is literally how to counter team comp. So all right, let's go to our next one. and then we have time for like 2 more. So this time, do you guys understand a little bit about how team comps and stuff work and counters and stuff like that? Or you guys have any questions?
No, but hey man, I'm not trying to be rude. I play 3 tanks. Can I play my 3 tanks?
Well, we're working on team composition, so it doesn't matter what you play.
No, they fit. They all 3 of them fit any team comp. It's just
what tanks do you play?
I play Wrecking Ball for dive, Zarya for brawl, and I play Roadhog as a counter.
Okay, so you can't go main tank and then swap to flex tank, because one, that's going to lose ult charge a lot if you have to swap stuff out.
I was trying to pick Wrecking Ball for main tank dive, but he picked it before me.
No, well, like I said, the reason why I asked before the thing, before we did our support line on who's playing main, so we can understand who is doing what. So that was my bad on that first one, but second one, first come first serve. You just, I can't do anything about that.
Well, no, it's fine. I'm just asking from here on
if it fits the team composition, yes, really but sure. We are going to be hard committing to one team comp. And then if something needs to swap to counter, then I will say what role can swap to counter and what your choices are. So that's...
Well, no, I get that, but I'm trying to learn I'm trying to learn to get better at specifically these 3 because I don't want my...
Well, then send a VOD review in, and then I'll be able to help you with that. This is not going to be... This is not for that. So send a VOD review in, and then I'll be more than happy to do that. I'm not going to sacrifice the other 4 people here who are learning about team comps so that you get to practice the hero you want to do.
Oh no, I'm not gonna dip out. I mean, I'll still help out.
No, I'm saying no. That's what I'm saying. There's no point in you playing another hero that's not going to fit in the team comp. That's the thing.
Well, no. Again, like I mean, all 3 of them fit any team comp. So I'm just saying, like,
okay,
can I just play these 3?
No, you can't. Simple answer: no, you can't. Okay. All right. So this time we're going to have our tank line pick our team comp for this first one, and then we're going to have our support line pick our team comp. So I'll tell you what team comps can work. And then main tank, whoever's playing main tank, you will pick whatever you're going from there. And then I'll let I won't tell what our support line can play, and I won't tell what our DPS can play, and I'll just swap stuff out if we need to. All right, or I'll swap stuff out to fix the team comp a little bit better if we need. All right, so so on our tank line, who is going to be playing main tank?
I tried ball last game because
I don't look. Hey, we got a short amount of time. I get that. Man. I don't care.
No,
who is playing main tank? I need to know who is playing our main tank so we know what team comps are going to be. Who's starting our team comp?
I can play main tank.
Okay, so then Lord will be our main tank player. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, no, the only thing that screws me over is since they changed, Hammond is now apparently a main tank when he didn't used to be.
He's always been a main tank since day 1. He's never been a flex tank, or off tank or flex tank, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, that's what people are telling me, but I never heard that from him.
It's everybody.
I'm not gonna argue with it.
Yeah, but you're not the only one. People, I literally get lobbies and I ask people every now and then, name me all the main tanks. You know the 2 main tanks that everybody always names?
Probably Orisa and Reinhardt.
Yep, every single time. Those are the only 2 main tanks that exist in the game because they have or Sigma. They're named Sigma too. Just because they have a shield that you lay down and stand behind.
I'm assuming it's because they have shield.
Yeah, that's the only logic behind having main tank. Same thing goes with main supports. Main supports from people always seem to be who outputs the most healing. That's not what classifies a main support. Is the healing.
Like Ana, Mercy, and Moira are the main supports. Well, maybe Lucio.
No, it's Lucio, Mercy, Brig. Those are the only main supports. Every other healer is a flex support. It has nothing to do with the output of healing that they offer. It is what they offer. It is what their
their abilities.
Their
abilities. I thought Wrecking Ball was a flex because he's more of a dive in your face, but I feel like main tank should be like with the team at all times.
No, how that works is it kind of works how Winston works, is getting resources put into you. So in all main tanks need to be doing is creating space, defending space, stuff like that. So Wrecking Ball can create space by getting resources put into him, So that's why when you see wrecking balls, good wrecking balls, they're always in your face. They're always breaking everybody up and stuff like that. As soon as you go to start dealing with a wrecking ball, you're now taking focus off your front line. So that is resources getting taken away. So that's how wrecking ball does it. And same thing to a certain extent for Winston, but his shield can kind of zone supports out and zone off healing and stuff like that. So it still kind of demands resources be put in. So it's kind of how that works. All right, so main tank. This can run with dive, and it can work with brawl. So whatever one you're wanting to do, Reaper.
Let's go, bro.
Alright. And then everybody else go ahead and pick your hero so I can tell you what is not going to work and what can work. I'm going McCree, so okay, so we're running a Moira and a Brig, so I will run
Justice ain't gonna dispense
McCree.
itself.
Now the reason why DPS usually picks last is because you need to know what your support and tank line are to see what output of healing and what you could run. Because I could run an Ashe here, but I won't get healed really as the Brig, with the Brig. So it's going to be kind of one of those things that you got to look for to see if you're going to be able to get support. So we can go main. We should probably take the high ground, but it's not. It just kind of depends on what you're wanting to do. But I'm not really worried about that. We can brawl into him. Let's go. We're here. Yeah, we can't. In this team composition, we have to be brawling. We cannot be fighting distance away. Our Brig has to be getting value by doing damage. So in this composition, like I said, we need to be brawling. So the only way we get value from this team comp is going to be making sure our Brig is doing damage. Like, she has to be brawling. I don't know where that Ashe is.
It's time. Someone call the Undertaker.
You can keep pushing. We need a brawl, yeah. Hogs behind. Oh, jeez. Still hooked me. Now, I'm not worried about y'all's ultimates. I'm not worried about your communication. I'm not worried about positioning, really. All I'm worried about is y'all's team composition.
Echo behind.
Oh, let me C9 real quick.
So we have our Brig way on the left. We have our Rhine way on the mid. We have a Zarya way on the right. We all need to make sure we're grouping with the same people. Mercy's not 1 HP. If she is not enough to melee, she is not 1 HP. Stop saying she's 1 HP.
Now Mercy's 1.
Yeah. Like, you're calling targets that are 1 HP that are half HP.
Come back, we lost Moira, who's down a healer.
Point contest, point contest.
Yeah, I'll stun him when he comes around. Oh, no, just... Ball's 1.
It's time.
Give me some charge, boy. Drop that shield.
You want touch?
Oh, never mind.
Draw. I'm on fire. Hold up. That'll learn you.
Fire at will.
Good grab.
He.
Okay, so can anybody identify any of their hard targets that we need to? Let's hard counter somebody. Let's pick somebody off the enemy team that they was running that we can hard counter. They're running a Rhine wrecking ball.
We didn't really have a problem.
No, we didn't. But you saw, yeah. But let's just say they are. So let's pick something on there. They're running brawl. So ideally, any spam things on their team. No, actually, I don't think they had any
we
spam.
don't know.
I don't think they had. They didn't have any spam. So yeah, they're running dive into brawl. So
now I would think. So
okay, so we'll wait until this next one. Hopefully, they're running something kind of spammy, and then we'll see. I'll be open to hear what you guys have for options for how to counter some stuff. I'll pick a hero, and then I'll have you guys give suggestions. Okay, so they're running as Zen Baptiste, so those are two spam things. So what could we run to deal with the spam?
Alright, so honestly, I would say our only two issues would be Baptiste and Lobby.
Yeah, their spam is Zen and Baptiste. How do we and Roadhog too? How do we deal with spam?
Roadhog and Baptiste are the only ones I'm worried about.
Okay, so okay, so you count on the Roadhog, so we're good with that. Now, what about the spam from the Zen and Baptiste? What should we run? Out of heroes that could be able to be ran, what genre of heroes? Brawl, dive, spam.
Back up.
Hello.
Surrender to my will.
Okay, so what could we run to counter their spam?
To counter their spam?
Yes.
I switched to Rex, but I'm already at 60 ult.
Yeah, well, you're flex support or flex tank, so you're not going to be swapping. If you're going to run dive, you want it swapped to a main tank. You wouldn't need to swap to a main tank. So what are the other options that we could do? Huh?
But I said I wouldn't swap, but
well, there's other options that we could swap to. There's supports and there's
maybe Tracer Genji.
Okay, so then we could swap to Tracer Genji. What else could we run? Anybody else have any other ideas?
Counter.
Any heals.
Counter the.
I'm gonna go ahead and swap to the Tracer.
Counter the Echo with Soldier.
Back up.
Kind of give us more long distance.
Made real.
So I'm going Tracer to deal with their spam.
I'm pinned
We're down, Moira. We're down. Left over tanks.
Top reset, back up, guys.
Let's go right side.
Fire at will.
Oh shit! He's on the left.
Nice shield.
McCree, right side. McCree left side.
This is probably winnable.
McCree left side.
Well, that
McCree left side.
No, I can't focus him. He's bubbled. Gotta get this Zarya first.
Kill the bubble. The bubble only takes 200 damage.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna give her free charge.
It does. You should. If you're going to win the fight, burst the bubble. She's going to get charged no matter what.
Ryan by himself.
I'm dead.
double back to some point.
I've been working on that. Nice job, guys.
Victory.
Okay, so one thing I will let you guys know. You're taking a little too long to decide to figure out your counters, which is going to hurt you in your game. So when I'm asking you what counters this hero or whatever, you should be thinking automatically like, okay, this, and this work. It took you 30-40 seconds or something to figure that out. You should already be knowing in your head what's going to be working for you. to counter that type of stuff, so you can start giving suggestions, because you have to. You don't have time. If you were losing and you're taking that long, it takes you 20-30 seconds. They already got 30 more %. That's a whole team fight. So look at what they have. If I'm saying, hey, we need to counter this hero or this other hero, what can we run? Okay, then you can swap this, we can swap this, we can swap this. Ideally, your main tank, main support probably do not need to be swapping, okay? Because we want to keep our core line together. Now, if we're going to hard swap, then yes, we need to hard swap everything over. All right, do you guys have time for one more? If not, then that's fine, because hour 30's up. So what do you guys want to do? You guys can, we can either play.
I thought it was hour 50. It said 1.5 hour.
1.5 hours.
Actually, 1.5 is half. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm literally dumb.
Okay, so all right, we'll play one more. So Kazoon or Cafe or Cafe, which one of you guys are going to be our main support?
I can do main support.
Okay. So remember, when I ask what we need to counter this hero, doesn't mean that they are a hard carry or anything like that. I'm just, if we're winning like that, we still need to know what counters it, because it doesn't make a difference, because you're not always going to have the same team, and you're going to be playing against harder stuff. You need to still know what counters certain heroes. And one little thing when it comes to countering and stuff, always try to swap your DPS out first before you swap your tank line and support line. Unless your supports are dying all the time or something like that, try to swap your DPS line first, if you can. Now, if you were having to run a mirror or something, like you're not going to need to swap your Widow out for Mei if they're running a Widow or something like that. Obviously, you want to keep your Widow and stuff like that. Alright, so this can run, we're on attack, so we're not going to run spam, so we can either run Brawl, and we also can run Dive here. So Kazoon, you can go ahead and pick what you want to, what you want to. Okay, so now everybody else can go ahead. Well, Blues are playing our main tank, so we're running Dive, it looks like. So what can you guys run? So you guys run. So you guys.
I can go Hog or Sigma.
Does that work in Dive?
Yeah.
How?
No. Sigma's super slow, and Hog doesn't have enough mobility at all. Winston works in Dive.
Yeah. And also
Beetle, yeah, there you go.
I'll go Widow.
One shot, one kill.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attack commencing. Capture objective A.
Oh, Jesus.
Metal turrets left side, Brian left side.
They're running Brawl. They're running hardcore Brawl.
Are they running all Brawl? Let's see what the
Ryan
whole
in
team
our
comp
spawn.
is.
Ryan coming from behind, right side.
Ryan and Hog behind you.
No Hog.
Hog pushing me. Hog pushing me.
Push off.
Reset and spawn.
I'm dead.
Everybody reset and spawn.
Okay, so they're running Brawl. Dive does not count our Brawl, obviously, so we need to swap our team comp. So we can either run Brawl or we can run Spam. So it looks like we're running Brawl, so I'm gonna go ahead
Justice ain't gonna dispense.
run some stuff with. Okay, so Mercy does not work in Brawl.
Right one. Get on point.
Then just left click and you'll win that duel. You're taking way too long to. There's no reason to charge a shot there.
Okay. Get Hog.
Yep, nice shield. Push off it.
90% of the time you're not going to be right clicking as Zen. You should
Oh, I'm
just
dead.
left click.
Oh my god.
You get way more damage out.
I got Hog.
Hog's got some really spicy hooks. Watch out.
Yeah.
Yahi parambasta vikta hai.
That's first cat. Nice.
I've been trying to get into your lobby for an hour now. I'm only on 6 seconds. Oh, okay.
Hogs discorded.
It only works if you are around the same SR that we have.
Somber recall gone. Somber has no recall.
And so the key thing to running a Lucio Zen is not using both ults at the same time. Which we probably should have tranced there because people were getting melted for that.
Yeah.
Like that, like you can.
I'm last on point.
Lucio Zen is super strong if you don't use them both at the same time. If you use them both at the same time, it's a waste.
Wait, whoa. Alright, here we come.
Just wait for all. He's so explosive. Alright, let's go.
Wait, I'm not in speed boost. Alright, I'm in range. Let's go.
EMP's coming this way.
Oh my god, I got power. Guys, how far is that?
He's dead already. He didn't call for help.
We lost half our team.
On a dead. We're good.
I gotta get a health back. Hold on.
Let's go.
They're respawns.
Feels like a new man.
We can come in with B.
No, it's okay. I have ult. I
Back
can
it
bop
up with
Mafia.
France.
Get out.
There they go.
Get out. So one thing you want to look at when it comes to 2CP. Alright, so now let's hard counter somebody else. Let's hard counter their Sombra. So, well, no. Let's hard counter their bat, because that's spam. What can we go to counter their bat?
We can do Junkrat or
Tracer, maybe?
Soldier.
Why would we go Junkrat or Soldier? That's they're running spam.
Now, hold on. It's
Push main.
So what would you want to counter their spam that they have? Because they have hard and they have their Baptiste. What would you counter?
What are we trying to counter?
Their spam.
To counter their spam, what?
well.
Dive?
Okay, so what could we swap first that works in both situations?
Okay, yeah. So
we need probably heals. We probably need to swap the heals.
To be honest, Pulse, you could go Junk, but I just hate Junk and I don't like him on my team. So
Junk's not going to work against that. That's
No,
another. You don't counter spam with spam.
Oh, no, we're going. No, you go like Tracer again.
For Ash.
Okay.
I don't see how Ash is a dive hero, but
We
Because
might
she's
need
long
to
range.
change our
Let's go.
heal to like a BAP or something.
Acknowledged.
guys, we got a minute left. Oop, I gotta back up.
Let me switch.
I'll go.
I'm dead.
My business,
Baptiste.
my rules.
Guys,
Can't
wait,
see
guys,
me.
wait.
They don't know
we have
that I'm right
60
here.
seconds. We have 2 more team fights to be played.
Let's go.
They just used Shatter, so they probably have full hogs and... Yep, I was just gonna say, if someone's been playing right, they'll have their... Yep, both ults. Why are they using them? We got... Let's go, we just gotta push, we just gotta go right. Go right, keep going, man, we got this.
They're behind.
10 seconds.
time. I'm dead. GG.
Oh, I got hacked. I was wondering why I couldn't jump up with my shift.
Well, no, it was fine. It was launched as soon as Ryan.
It took a little too long to understand what you needed to swap to. So, in that case, like so when you're swapping heroes and you're wondering, what heroes can counter what or whatever, like I was saying, the one thing you need to do is look at what right now can fit in both compositions, okay? So we was running a Zen Lucio, we was running a Hog, a Rhine, and a Reaper, okay? And the McCree. They all work really good in Brawl composition. They can all work in Brawl. Now we need to look at, if we're going to counter their spam, you already know that spam gets countered by dive, right? So we need to counter their spam that they're coming through. Now, you guys know what spam, you guys know what dive heroes are. Anything that's either fast mobility or a lot of mobility, or anything long range. So Ashe, Widow, Tracer, Genji, Doomfist, Hanzo, and Far to an extent as well, and Sombra. So any of these heroes would be fine to swap your DPS out. And now you have to think of, okay, we're running this team composition, what can work in both scenarios? Well, if we run a Sombra can definitely work with what we have. Also, they're running a Sombra, so you can do a equal counter, so now they have something to worry about as well. And now you solve two birds with one stone. You swap your DPS out, that's not really going to get value running the McCree, or you can keep the McCree and swap out the Reaper. But if the Reaper's doing fine or whatever, these are options that you can go for. But you probably would want to go with the Sombra if they're running a Sombra and spam and stuff like that in that last situation. Now you could also go Widow, well, yeah, I would say you'd probably want to go a Widow as well. You could also go Tracer. The only thing is though, if you do run a Tracer, they are running a Sim, so you have to be very careful running heroes like that. I would say if you run a Tracer or Genji, it's going to be super hard to get a lot of value if their Sim is really good. And then next thing, you could probably, if you're going to run any of the heroes like that are going to be divey, or like super mobile like that, out of the Tracer, Genji, Doomfist, I would probably say go with the Doomfist because he has that one-shot capability and he can get out pretty easily. Or Sombra, because they're running Sombra, you can run Sombra, as simple as that. Now, let's say you do swap that to something like that and you make that decision. The biggest thing when it comes to these types of things is, one, like I said, is time, how long it takes for you to decide. If it takes you 20-30 seconds, it's taking too long, okay? Next thing, you have to decide if who needs the swap. Like I said, your DPS are probably going to be the easiest ones to swap, and then you look at your flex heroes, okay? So your flex support. So our Zen stayed on Zen, that's fine. And then they swapped to a Baptiste, that's fine as well, because now they're running a Baptiste, we're running a Baptiste, equals that out, cancels that out. Now we get equal value there, and they both work in our composition. And then looking at our tank line, we can swap to Roadhog to that can also deal with their Roadhog, and kind of help deal with their spam as well. So you're kind of running spam as well. But like I said, you don't necessarily need to swap them because they don't need to, like, they already fit in the composition and they also deal with the other counter. So it's not like you necessarily need to swap that out. You want to be looking at things that can swap out and that don't really fit with what you're running right now, or don't already have a counter or same hero pick. So those are the things that you want to be looking for. All right, so any last questions or anything like that?
Honestly, that last match, I would have preferred we just hard swap spam. We would have been fine.
Yeah, we could have also hard swap. We could also run spam against it too. If they're running spam and we run spam, but you can run that. But I'm really looking at what we can run. And running spam on attack, at least on that first point, is going to be a little tougher. So I was like, well, they're running
I'm
brawl.
talking like after we camped the first
Oh,
one,
at second point.
minutes left.
Oh yeah, we could
like,
hard swap. Yeah, we could hard swap. Spam. That probably would have been an actual better option, ideally too, because then they're running spam and we could run the double shield and run a lot more spam coming through, and you can also run that. But I'm just looking at like really one hero. Unless our whole team comp kind of gets countered, then I'm just kind of looking at one hero and just basing off of one hero. I don't want to do a whole hard team comp swap every single time. And this is something that you also need to understand is like when they are running counters or they are running something like that, you do not necessarily need to say, oh, they swapped to this, so I need to swap to this. You have to say, are they getting value with that counter? And if they're not, then it doesn't matter. If they are, then that means, yeah, you probably do want to swap. But you have to identify that problem first. Just because they're running a counter pick does not mean they are countering you. They can run it all day long, doesn't mean anything. You can run far and a double hit scan, but if the double hit scans ain't hitting shit, what does it matter? Right? So think of that when it comes to swapping heroes and stuff like that. Alright, so any last questions or anything like that before the lobby's kind of over? No?